Hopefully you can help me find a trek into the Chamberlain.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's how all our grandmother country, all the out of the way fishing areas and stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, we're here, roughly here.
Yep.
Devil's Elbow. And
the Chamberlain Gorge has been described to me as a slice of paradise, but access has been restricted to helicopter only to cross the Durack Range. Grandpa Bruce is asking us to scout the range to see if there is a way to traverse it for his customers, as well as check out other gorges as potential campsites.
Trek for more four-wheel driving, extreme.
Yeah.
People like yourselves.
Yeah, it's going to be an adventure, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Barra country too.
All Barra country. and crocodile.
Yeah, righto. Keep that in mind. I'll send Ronny first.
Well, have a safe journey.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for the turkey.
Thanks for bringing us out. It's a privilege travelling with you.
No, it is. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers. Well, we are on our own now, Ronny.
Yep. Back to square one. Pushing tracks where there's nothing.
No man's land.
Nah.
We find ourselves again.
Yep. Definitely had good bit of feed to say that's my last supper. If anything goes wrong.
That turkey was delicious. That was very good.
Yeah.
So we'll pack up and start pushing this track, hey?
Yeah, I reckon so. Go back, go find the crossing, and then beyond that, I reckon step by step, play it by ear.
Yeah, we've got a couple of hours of light left.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yep. I reckon then pull up before it's too dark, so we can clear cab if we need to clear cab.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yep. And we might put this fire out before we go.
Yeah, that's it. We don't want him chasing us.
And an awesome feed of turkey just here. This is actually one of their mustering camps right beside what they call Pelican Hole. But now the real adventure begins. We actually have to start pushing through a track. There's no roads to where we want to go.
Hey, Penzo, looks like we're coming up to a creek crossing. Is this the creek crossing before we start pushing our own road?
Yeah, mate, I've just slowed down a bit. This is the Wilson. It doesn't look too bad so far. Hopped out and heard a bit of a bo peep. On the left-hand side here's a bit of a dropout to watch out for, but it has had a grader over it at some point, thank goodness.
Yeah, I was going to just say I can make out the windrose there. She's a pretty big track that they left behind.
Yeah, it's a welcome relief when I saw that, because this is a decent creek to cross.
Ah, cool. Ooh, river sand. Come on, mate, you got this.
Yeah, I'm home imposed over that and into the rocks.
Nice stuff.
Ronny, mate, I am struggling to find the track up in front here. I think I'm going to need your track finding skills. Can you come around, mate?
Yeah, no worries, mate. If I can get around you there, mate, I'll do my best to try and find this track.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, plenty of room to the right there.
Thanks, mate. Penzo, according to this GPS, where we need to get to is straight across from us, adjacent to us. So, given the terrain that we're on, I'm thinking of going left here, mate, and making our own tracks. What do you reckon?
I was just looking at the same thing on the GPS. I can see the little gap between the escarpments that you want to make a run for it. So if you're confident, yeah, I'm up for it.
Yep, definitely, mate. Oh, here we go, another adventure.
Sun's not in a really good position to help us, is it, right in our eyes when I'm trying to make a track?
No, not really. That's why I kind of just fell into a little hole there, mate. Yeah, just take it easy. There'll be hitting ant beds and stuff like that as well along the track. So, yeah, I'm just going to cruise up slowly, mate.
Yeah, I agree. Ronny, I'll keep my eyes peeled. I'll try and stay in your tracks as well and stick up close so I don't lose you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I run over an ant bed or do something you shouldn't do, yeah, just don't do what I do if it's bad.
Yeah, right, mate. What we're aiming for is a break in the escarpment. You can see it on the GPS, and looking in front of the windscreen I can see where it tapers down either side. I just hope we can get a vehicle through that little valley. Can't talk to Ronny too much because he's actually concentrating on the track through this valley. You've got gullies to keep an eye out for, branches overhanging the track and the
Yeah,
grass.
just got a couple of sharp rocks there, depends on your driver's side there.
Yeah, thanks mate, I saw you taking your time through that. I thought there must be something there.
Yeah, I had to chuck him back from second low to first. It was just running away from me there.
Not always a good look when it races away from you.
Yeah, that's it. I think I'm getting too excited here.
Mate, I can see you smiling from here in the rearview side mirror, eh?
Yeah, I can see that.
I've also still got the quad bike on the back of my tray, and it overhangs the tray just a little bit, so any trees that are coming onto the track I have to make sure that I don't get hooked up.
Yeah, mate, there is a bit of a drop off on your left. So I'm just going to come up over this bit of ridge here.
Alright mate, I'll hang right as well.
You're like a bucking bronco at the moment. So you all cleared up a bit now.
Yeah, a few lumps and bumps there, getting the ab workout.
Yep, strip my seatbelt in tighter. Hey, Benzo, looks like we found a nice bit of clearing here to put the buckets down and the flag. I'll take a camp down here.
I think this is the best option. I'm not too keen to lay on those boulders in this way. It's going to be a bit lumpy on the old back, so this looks great, mate.
Yeah, same, mate, same. So yeah, just come around, pick a nice little flat spot for yourself, and yeah, set up camp.
This looks like a pretty good spot to camp. We can clear enough to put the swags down and it won't be too lumpy to lay down on for the night. We've got a little escarpment here, but tomorrow we want to head that direction. And the scrub does look a little bit thicker, so I'm a little bit concerned about that, but I'm pretty pleased with our progress so far today. Whole heap of wood here. Look at this. Perfect. It's real solid too. Yep. My job's done. My work is done.
Yeah, we should send you for wood more often. Look at that.
Just noticed a little spike in the temperature on the engine of this quad bike. Now, we've been asking a ton out of this poor thing. It's only a month old and it's done more work than most quad bikes would see in their lifetime. With the temperature rising, we started looking around. Okay, we're getting a build up of grass. Now I want to show you, if you just have a look under here, how caked up everything gets. We've taken the bash plates off. This here is just solid. Hang on, I can't even get it out. Grass seed, grass, sticks. It's just phenomenal how much you end up in here. Now the radiator is slightly clogged with all this stuff. We'll give it a bit of a clean out and keep an eye on that temperature. But if you have a look up there, and you probably can't see it through the grill, but we can see that that radiator is also completely clogged as well. We do run a mesh across the front, but because you're idling around so much, it's just airborne, the dust, the grassy, these things here, mate, you get covered with them. By the end of the day, you are absolutely covered and it's sucking it in through the fan and through the radiator. Maintenance is the biggest thing out here. If you see something starting to go outside of its normal operating conditions, stop, maintain, repair, replace, whatever you got to do. It won't let you down then. But it's when you neglect seeing the differences and changes on how something like the quad bike, the temperature it runs at, that's when you get yourself into strife. This will only take us half hour tops to get back ready again. But it's those little things that keeps everything rolling down the road without any problems.
We use our compressor for a multitude of things, not just for pumping up tyres, but also for odd jobs like this. Generally, compressors do draw a fair amount of current, so to get your battery up to about 13.5 volts is where it needs to be. So a tip is to have your engine running when you plan to use it. You right to turn that on, BJ?
Yeah, bud.
What a day, Ronnie. We've come a long way, about 80 odd k's from the homestead, and we've got 16 k's to go to reach our target.
Yeah, thereabouts, mate, yeah.
What'd you find on the quad bike this RV when I was setting up the swags and you ducked off?
There's a bit of good news, actually.
Yeah.
We just ran up here to the base of this hill, and there's an old dozed or graded road.
No way.
Yeah, so that cut the trip a bit short.
Yep.
Went down, and then we went up the valley, found another bit of dozed road.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy, in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere, yeah. It must be something in these hills that they love, especially to push your dozer through there.
Yeah, that's a bit of work to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cut our work down a bit more, so,
Oh yeah, that's
which
what we
was
want.
awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll send the quad out in front tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it looks like we'll change the plans. We'll send the quad out and stuff. We'll follow that behind. And yeah, then play it by ear from there. Maybe go all the way with the quad, just in case, because it is pretty hard to turn these vehicles around.
Yeah, especially in the rocky sections.
Yeah, yep. Especially the amount of fuel that we're using as well.
Yep, keep an eye on that.
Keep an eye on that, yeah.
And I think tomorrow's going to be a good day.
Yeah, I reckon we'll hit him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sun up, sundown. I know now.
Day 3 at Violet Valley, and we are all a little excited to say the least. Exploring country that only a handful of people have walked on over the last 50 years, I live for this type of adventure. Our goal is to try and find a path to reach Chamberlain Gorge, or one of the stock routes that link up, but this is pretty tough country. We don't have much time left up here in the Kimberley, but that being said, I'm not in a rush to run away from this challenge. Up for the same plan we discussed about around the fire last night, and get to the 2k that you went into with the quad bike, and then send the quad bike further on while the cars wait back.
Yeah, mate, I think that's a great idea. We'll definitely move faster with the quaddie, and pushing a road, and easy to turn around and stuff, you know. Yeah, so should be good.
Yeah, I got a good feeling about today. I reckon we're going to make it. Late yesterday afternoon, I set up the swags at camp while Ronny and BJ jumped in the quad and headed off in the direction that we need to aim for. They got 2k's in, but ran out of lights, so they had to come back from camp. So what we're doing this morning, we're taking both vehicles up to that point that they got to yesterday afternoon, and then we'll send the quad bike out again to scout a track to bring the vehicles through. The quad bike can move a lot easier in this type of country, and we're also watching our fuel consumption on the vehicles. And I'm running out of time because I need to be on the East Coast very shortly for my boys' fishing trip. When I say boys' fishing trip, it's Pen plus the boys. I get an invite because I can fillet fish, so I don't want to give up my spot in the fishing crew. I need to be on the East Coast.
For me, doing this trek, it's a really big honor for me, with my grandfather saying, yep, okay, I'll leave you from here. This is where you need to go. Good luck, come back safe, and let me know how you go. Having that responsibility to push this track in, it's overwhelming. It's a great acknowledgement of responsibility, and say, okay, my boy, you know this track, this is, you know, this country. Let's make something of it together and give back to the people together, and provide more opportunities for my people to not only just reconnect with the land, share its values and our beliefs, but also to make a living working their country to the best of their benefits, you know. One of the things are tourism. I believe tourism for my people would be, it covers all the bases really. You get to go out, experience what it's like to walk in our grandfather's footsteps, grandmother's footsteps, share the stories with you, good and the bad, and then together also see a brighter future for my people. With me doing this track, opening it up, Gramps giving me this opportunity to do so, that dream will soon become a reality for me, and something that, you know, makes me feel very, very proud of. Kind of like giving back to my people as well, because I hold them in such high values, you know, and especially my culture. I'd love to see this track open up. I'd like to see you guys out on this track as well, you know, enjoying this country together, and seeing the wonders of this place, sharing the culture in a way it should be, coming from the grassroots people.
Whether or not we can get all the way through on this attempt, that is just a side point in my opinion. But being out here, sharing Grandpa Bruce's and Ronnie's passion and vision for this country and their people, well, I can't explain how proud I am to have been invited along on this expedition.
Righto viewers, here's an update for you. We left the cars about 6 km south of us. Came up with the quaddy to do some reconnaissance and stuff, seeing if we could get up any of these valleys. But unfortunately right now, everything's just looking like a no-go zone. Gets too hairy in some of these valleys at the moment. We could probably get up there with the quad, but bringing the cars through, well, that's a different story. And remember, we are on a time limit too, so we'll have to go back, regroup, and check with the group and try and come up with a plan B. Maybe going back onto the old station roads, following that up as far as we can. Right now we're going to head back 6 km. It'll take us maybe an hour and a half, given the terrain's pretty rough, but yeah, need to catch up with Penzo and see what we're doing.
It feels like it doesn't end. Yeah. There's lots and lots of rock. What have we found?
Rocks.
Rocks? Rocks.
And some more rocks.
And some more rocks.
Hey.
I actually still feel like I'm bouncing here.
Yeah, no, I thought I was going to get seasick, man.
Solution for Penn's not that way. I think
Nah.
Backtrack, get back to camp, get on that old track we found.
Yep.
Hook to the north.
Yep.
And try and find how close we can get to that Bedford track. Have a look at that set of yards.
Yeah.
There's a set of yards that may be close to jump over point. But as much as the contours on the map look like it's promising, it's either creek, thick scrub,
Yeah.
cliff either side.
Cliff either side, and yeah, and rocks.
And more rocks.
Yeah.
Well, tell Penn, turn around.
Yeah,
Yep.
turn around.
Try again the other way.
But we're not finished yet.
We're not done.
Nah.
Still got a good day and a half.
Yeah, I'd say
We
day and
push
a
it
half.
out.
Yep.
We'll see how we go. All right, mate.
No worries.
When Grandpa Bruce was showing us on the maps the location of the Bedford stock route that he'd like a track to link up to, he did say the terrain out here is pretty hard going, and he said if we can't make it through, there is another gorge that might be worthwhile having a look at. Now, we've been trying to find a way across this range. It's been really, really tough. It's pretty much impenetrable, and looking at the maps, it goes the whole way along. So we've had to admit defeat. We've turned around, going to head back to camp, and in the morning we'll go out and have a look at that other gorge. It took more than one attempt to reach the moon. It just means I'll have to come back for round 2. When I woke up this morning, I could smell diesel, so wandering around the vehicle trying to find where it's coming from, and I found it. It's from my fuel tank, And you can see there it's damp. In the centre is a fracture in my fuel tank, probably just from fatigue. But to play it on the safe side, I'm still 100 k's from the homestead out here. And Gramps said to Ronny, if you can't get out to one gorge, there is another one he mentioned just 20-30 k's down the track here. I'm going to let the boys go out on the quad bike and do a bit of exploring. I'm going to hang back here, keep my cruiser stationary, because in 4 days I've got to do 3,500 k's across the east coast to get home and to my fishing trip, which I'm hanging out for. So I want to baby this as much as I can, and I don't have time to do repairs on the road at the moment. I have to make this work, so this is my best option at the moment.
Well, took a trip early this morning, left Penny and the group back at the campsite. Wanted to do some scouting for old Grandpa Bruce, and came across this area here, this nice beautiful gorge. Nice big red cliff up on the side of me here. Nice big river that runs through it. We flew the drone for a while, and just up above this nice big body of water, and behind me here you can still see a bit more water. And for this time of the year, it's amazing because we did have a very poor wet season. But this looking very nice for a potential campground, actually, depending on how many days we could come out, stuff like that. So yeah, no, definitely has potential, this area, and might have to go back and report to the big boss, and yeah, see how we go from there.
The size of these properties is so big and remote, it's kind of hard to get your head around. The property owners can live here for generations and still not see all they have in their back paddocks. I don't blame the boys for taking so long out exploring. Pleased to see you.
Yes, same.
You guys have gone a little while.
Yeah, it took us a while to get up there and stuff like that, finding the track, and then
What'd you find, mate?
oh, beautiful bit of gorge there, nice little place for a campsite and whatnot.
Oh, good stuff.
Also a nice little hut with a windmill.
What?
Oh man, looks
Oh,
awesome.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yep.
Okay, oh wow. Oh, I wish
Yeah.
I was there.
No, it looked really nice,
Did
eh?
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. It'd be good to take that back to Gramps, let him know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Take it back to the boss, give him a report, and
Yeah.
I think he'll like it, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right to head on out now? 'Cause
Yeah.
you've got to make some tracks.
I reckon, yeah, make some tracks, head back, and yeah, make some tracks, and we'll have to find some tracks again.
I know, right? All right, cool.
No worries.
Glad you're back in one piece, mate.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm back.
I'm not sure if it was such a smart idea letting Ronny borrow the quad this morning, Penzo.
Just the fastest I've seen him move all day, jumping on that quad bike.
You're too right. He first opportunity he got it. I think we pretty much kissed that one goodbye.
I reckon you'd be enjoying the air conditioning though, wouldn't you, having a break from the quad bike?
I'm enjoying the air conditioning and the lack of spear grass.
Yeah, I don't know how many bits of speargrass you pull out of your socks every single day.
Socks, jeans, shirt, you name it, mate. People don't realise, getting around in this country, the spear grass is your biggest enemy.
Just under 8 k's up this road, BJ, is a heritage listed site that Gramps said to go in and have a look at.
Yeah, I did remember him talking about that. Something new about a place built out of the cypress pine that they have growing around here.
Yeah, an old homestead.
Yeah, I think it's worth a look.
Castle Reach Homestead was a meeting place for the sale of cattle back in the day. Station owners would come from all over the place to this area here, and it was a good choice because there's open paddocks here where plenty of stock could come with no dramas at all. Now it's lucky that this old homestead is made out of cypress pine because it's withstood the onset of termites. It looks a little rickety, but I'm so glad that it's here and we can actually walk around and have a good look. The homestead is heritage listed, and whoever built this structure did a really good job for it to still be standing today. I'm only guessing that this wire netting above me here was perhaps used to dry their salted meat up there, and back in the day this would have been 5-star luxury to have a roof over your head. Leaving a place like Castle Reach Homestead leaves you with thoughts of what it was like back then to muster cattle in this area, and how exciting it must have been for each time of the year to come in and to sell their cattle and to see other station owners as well. It's a fairly lonely existence out here. Now today this is still a working cattle station. Gramps has got a really good operation happening here. He's got bores right throughout this land, which is the lifeblood of this country, keeps water up to the cattle. And I'm kind of sad to be leaving the Kimberley behind. You get a bit attached to it with the different landscapes that change every single day, every single hour. But never mind, I'm sure I'll be back down the track. This was the last place that I just had to show you before I leave for the East Coast. You can walk here from camp, it's a couple of kilometres, or you can drive as well. It's a bit of a scramble up the hill, but you seem to be able to get good footing on the rocks. And once you're up the top here, you're on level with the birds. I was watching some hawks fly past me getting into the thermals. It was really beautiful sight. You'll also see wild brumbies, kangaroo, cockatoos, all sorts of animals from this vantage point. And just in front of me is a tree with a flower that they call the Kimberley rose. Because of its red and its pink tones, it really stands out in this landscape. And if you keep walking carefully around this escarpment, you may come across some more rock art and also some fire pits that were used by the old people. So if you come here to camp, come out to this lookout and really soak up the views. Our time on Grandpa Bruce's country has run out way too quickly. And I appreciated his invite to return and keep trying to find a way across to the Gorge country. But for now, the East Coast is calling, and I have a date to keep. As you can see by those mountains behind me and the blue water, I have made it across to the east coast of Australia, all the way from the Kimberleys, and it's definitely a bit cooler here. The fish are biting. I've already got a few reds on board, and I would have loved to have spent more time with Ronny over on the west coast, but this is our annual fishing trip. I had to be here and I have made it. Now, speaking of missing out, if you haven't caught up on all the episodes from Series 9, jump on YouTube, everything's there, but here's a sneak peek of what you might have missed out on. Our Part 2 Kimberley adventure has been epic. I'd like to thank Adam Craze for coming on a pretty adventurous ride around the coast by a boat. And also Ronny Morgan and his family. High range or low range, he's a champion. He was out in front leading the way. Also to Ironman 4x4. They're like family to me, and without them, none of this would be possible. And my other sponsors, I really appreciate their support too. And for those at home watching, thank you for your emails with encouragement. That really keeps me going. That's all we've got time for this series, but I'll see you next time in our next series on Top of Down Under.